Christmas Karma may be one of the worst cinema experiences that I've ever had. A row of 8 teenage girls laughing, carrying on their phones, in and out of the aisle throughout the entire movie. And then below me, down a few rows, there was a group of boys, teenagers, of course, if that, running in and out of the aisles, up and down, out the cinema, everything. But with that in mind, let me give you my honest thoughts on Christmas Karma. So, the last time I saw Gurinder Chadha, who is our director, was the 2019 movie Blinded by the Light. But in the past, she's also done Bend It Like Beckham, Pride and Prejudice, and other works. So she brings that Indian style to her movies, and this is absolutely no different, with this being a Bollywood musical take on A Christmas Carol. This time around, we are focused on Mr. Sood, played by Kunal Nayyar. Of course, he is the town grump. He's a very wealthy man. He's a successful businessman. But underlying all of this, he is unhappy. On the night of Christmas Eve, he is going to get a visit from 3 ghosts who hopefully can turn his life around. You know this story, you know the plot beats, and you know exactly what's going to happen. Does this do anything different in terms of that underlying story? No. However, where this does do a few things different is firstly the Bollywood musical numbers that this movie introduces, but also the backstory of Mr. Sood, of this whole political angle the movie does take. So I really do feel that Christmas Karma is going to divide audiences, because this tackles about refugees, immigration, UK politics, and politics for like foreign countries, for example, along with many other themes. Now, personally, I didn't mind because I took this for a movie. But how is the movie overall? Well, what I'll say to you guys is this. Overall, the movie is a bit of a mixed bag. I'm kind of down the middle on it if I'm going to give it a fair shake. Now, I say this because to get some positives out of the way immediately, I would say the movie is competently shot. It definitely gives you a Christmas feel. It has all the makings of a traditional Christmas movie, whether it is the on-set locations, whether it is the decor, whether it is the theme of the entire movie, and the ambience that a Christmas movie should bring, where it's warm, it's fuzzy, it's soft, it's emotional, and it gives you all these different emotions. Christmas Karma achieves that. Now, in terms of Kunal Nayyar, who plays Mr. Sood, I think for most part he does a good job. There is elements of his acting that isn't great, but we will touch on that when we get to the grimy negatives. Now, in terms of the rest of the positives, the underlying message of A Christmas Carol is still there. There is parts of this story, especially towards the second, towards the third act, of Bob Cratchit, who is essentially the clerk at Mr. Sood's workplace, who is his loyal worker, even though he gets paid absolutely bare minimum, and he has a family which includes either a partner or a wife who's played by Pixie Lott, or the character called Mary. He has a child who does have a terminal illness, and they need the funding to send him to a specialist doctor that is in Switzerland. So you're going to have makings already there that does remind you a little bit of a Muppets Christmas Carol. Yeah, the Muppets Christmas Carol is referenced here with that story arc about a little boy who isn't very well, and of course the ghost of future is going to show him that child's fate. So at elements, this story does have some dark moments, and I appreciated that. Now, you might be wondering, okay, well, how are the ghosts of the 3, past, present, and future? My favorite was probably the ghost of Christmas Past, played by Eva Longoria, and this is where we spend majority of the movie. Yes, we do get an introduction as to how we get Mr. Sood from, to present day, why he's this grump. And then, of course, the Ghost of Christmas Past tells you more about his backstory and all about his upbringing in Uganda. He had to leave the country. He's then brought over to the UK, and he's had to then build his life up from a teenage romance all the way up to his adult years of now being an unhappy man. The Ghost of Christmas Present, I felt got about 10-15 minutes, then they kind of cut that, and then The Ghost of the Future didn't really get that much time. Now, they're also played by Billy Porter and Boy George. We also have a cameo from Danny Dyer and Hugh Bonneville. Now, where I feel like Christmas Karma lets itself down is this gets intertwined and wrapped up too much in what it truly wants to be. At one part, it wants to commit to the Bollywood aspect, and I really wish this movie actually just stayed in the Bollywood lane, because I truly do feel as if it could have been a completely different sort of Christmas Carol tale than we've seen before, because this movie gets retold and this theme gets retold time and time and time again. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because I like the story. I think a lot of public will enjoy the story, but when you have the same story, you've got to make it different. This does try that, but then it leans into pop music, rap, blues, soul. It just can't really contain itself, and I do feel like that is a big flaw. Now, where I also feel that is a big flaw is with Kunal Nayyar's performance of Mr. Sood. When he has the serious dialogue lines, this guy is very unlikable, he's nasty, he's ruthless, but also it really helps you to buy into the character. When he has some lighter moments, I don't feel like if he pulls them off as well. It comes across a little bit silly, goofy, just laughably, and also a little bit cringy. Everyone else leans into that cheesy, a bit cringy sort of acting, and I think that is what ultimately lets this down. So my overall score would be a 2.5 stars out of 5. Have you seen Christmas Karma? Let me know down below in the comment section so we can continue the discussion down there. And in the meantime, if you haven't seen these videos of mine, we'll click over here, have yourself a bit of a deep dive, and I'll see you guys in the next one.